To whom it may concern, re-ODSP-OW benefits. My name is IsabellaPOOF, founder of POOF, Protecting ODSP-OW Funding. In 2017, the poverty line in Canada was $1,844 per month per person. This is 2019. I think it is horrendous that homeless people on ODSP or OW are expected to wait for housing that is non-existent at the moment and won't be available for many years to come. TCHC is full, there are no empty units, and units are being closed due to lack of funds for repairs. No new buildings are in the works, and no new properties are being bought. The waiting list and wait times to get into TCHC are 10 to 20 years. To expect people to put their lives on hold and live in shelters is undue punishment for being poor. Not everyone on ODSP or OW lives in affordable, subsidized, rent-near-to-income housing. ODSP allowance equals $497 for rent. This amount does not reflect reality, and in fact is a slap in the face for those most vulnerable Canadians, the disabled. Many disabled need a one-bedroom or bachelor apartment because of mobility devices and/or other medical devices. They also need a kitchen as a place to prepare meals. A bachelor one-bedroom apartment now costs between $1,100 and $1,500 per month. Quite simply, $497 does not cut it. OW rent allowance is $390 per month. A simple room costs $800 a month. Those on OW are given a paltry $390 per month to cover this huge expense for shelter. ODSP basic needs allowance $672 needs to be doubled or increased 100% to allow clients to eat properly all month long and to have money for repairs or replacement of items such as a kettle, microwave, or toaster oven.
Right.
They also need this increase because even with the rent allowance doubled, it would still not be enough to rent a bachelor or one-bedroom apartment without dipping into their basic needs allowance. What is considered affordable housing is not affordable to ODSP or OW clients. John Tory recently stated that affordable housing is 80 to 90% of the market value rent of a condo. Neither the province nor the City of Toronto have intentions of building more apartments specifically designed as affordable rental buildings. And even if you did, it would take years to complete, and the wait list is huge. This is not just a problem in the City of Toronto. This is an Ontario-wide problem. In 2017, TCHC needed $800 million for building repairs. Last fall, October 2018, the Ontario Conservatives under Premier Doug Ford cut $200 million from the TCHC repair fund. This past winter, Justin Trudeau's Liberals gave TCHC $1 billion over a 10-year period. That works out to $100 million per year. Half of what Doug Ford took away.
Shame! Shame!
This still leaves a $700 million shortfall from 2017. If you include what broke the TCHC buildings in 2018 and 2019, the repair bill is now around $1 billion and keeps growing. This proves that TCHC is being run into the ground and they can't afford to buy new buildings. There will be no buildings, which means no new units. No new units for people to move into. There is no money. We demand that you double or increase the shelter allowance 100% for both ODSP and OW, and that this be done immediately so that those homeless or shelter clients can get housed and to ease the stress of those who aren't housed, but who have to use their whole benefits, basic needs, and rent just to cover rent.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
Food banks and community meals are the only alternative for many ODSP or OW clients after all the money is spent on basic shelter. Not everyone on ODSP or OW can access food banks or community meals because of restricted diets. And even those with the maximum special diet allowance, $250, still struggle to eat properly and make ends meet all month long. It would be a time to actually start living at the poverty line rather than below it all the time. The math is simple. What you allow and what things cost does not compute. So please fix this immediately. If you try to phase these demands over, try to phase these demands in over time, that you are wasting your time and mine, along with continuing to put ODSP and OW clients' lives in jeopardy and danger. Thank you.
That was Isabella Gamp from POOF, protecting our ODSP and OW funding. Thank you, Isabella. Those were strong words from a strong woman. My name is Ebony Menzies, and I'm a member of ACORN. I'm also a mother of twins, and I've been on ODSP benefits for 10 years now. This letter is to the Honorable Minister McLeod. Dear Minister McLeod, ACORN leaders request an immediate increase to social assistance rates. We would also like to meet with the Minister of Children, Community and Social Services. This year alone, Ontario's 960,000 social assistance recipients were surprised to hear that MPPs are being given an almost 20% increase to their housing allowance. Sure! Doug Ford gave a 19.7% increase to their housing allowance. The increased cost of shelter isn't surprising. Almost half of Ontarians live in unaffordable housing. Average rents across the province have risen to $1,200 for the 77% of OW recipients and the 68% of ODSP recipients who live in private rental housing. The lack of affordable housing is at a crisis point. Average rents have raised over 25% in the past 5 years, and my social assistance has raised nothing. In fact, we asked for a 3% increase and we were given only 1.5. Shame! Shame! While he turned around and offered almost 20%.
That's unspeakable!
20% to his cronies and 1.5% crumbs for the rest of us. What a surprising fact that is, that MPPs, despite receiving annual salaries of $116,000 a year, are being given another raise. The same government that made the decision to raise MPPs' allowances also made the decision to cut social assistance rates by 1.5 last year. In contrast to MPPs' six-figure salaries, a single person with a disability on ODSP will receive basic benefits of only $14,000 a year. A single person on OW will receive only $8,796 per year. This forces vulnerable Ontarians into deep poverty and obviously homelessness. ACORN members urge you to consider the needs of low-income Ontarians. Ontario is becoming increasingly unaffordable. Many people work in the city and live elsewhere because they cannot afford the rents in Toronto. And these are people with well-to-do jobs. If the people at City Hall can't afford their rent, what does that say about the rest of us blue-collar people? To make life more affordable for social assistance recipients, we demand the following changes to ODSP. Reinstate the full 3% increase to assistance rates. Yes! We need a 100% increase. What are you talking about?
What is my state?
Ridiculous. Increase social assistance rates by an additional at least $500 a month across the board. That's still only going to pay 2/3 of my rent. 2/3 is better than nothing, but 2/3 is still unacceptable, and it's not enough.
Not enough.
Apply a 20% increase to the shelter allowance to match MPP's housing allowance increase, right?
Yeah!
If they get a raise on their roof, why can't I get a roof over my head?
Yeah!
All the homeless people, we just passed a shelter. If you're in a homeless shelter, they charge the government $38 a night per head, right? It actually costs them more money than to spend a little bit more money on my rent to put a house over my head per month. So what are they doing? Driving themselves into deficit rather than increasing our benefits so that every Ontarian can have a home. Yes! Housing is a human right. Being disabled should not make you a second-class citizen. No. Being poor should not make you less than human.
Yeah!
For every dollar invested in increasing incomes, there is a $1.30 economic return as a result of the multiplier effect. Raising the rates is not only the right thing to do, it also makes economic sense. Let's make Ontario a more prosperous province by supporting our most vulnerable residents. Sincerely, ACORN members across Canada.
Who are we? ACORN. What do we want?
People that that are sleeping on the streets are not there because they all have drug addictions or mental health issues. They are there for one reason alone. ODSP and OW do not give enough money for rent. That's the bottom line. Doug Ford can lie and bitch all he wants and change the old story and try to make people on disability or welfare hated by the rest of the public. But that's not how Canada works, and it's not right. So, you know, this is why we're here today to protest, is to increase ODSP and OW funds. People need to be able to get rent. People need to be able to eat healthily all month long. Forcing people to use food banks and community meals is not right. It's not right at all. You know, forcing people to go to their homes in the bitter winter cold or in the hot sun, you know, that have health issues, you know, just to get a meal, to beg a meal is wrong. You know, the government needs to start stepping up and taking care of the people that, you know, are homeless, are even the ones who are housed, because many who are housed are using all their check just for the rent, you know, or they're wasting, you know, they're not buying their medications or something that are extra cost because they can't afford it. You know, not everything is covered by ODSP or OHIP. I spend over $100 every month in the drugstore, and that's not for snacks or anything like that. That's just for medical supplies. So when the government tries to tell you all these stories about people on ODSP and that don't give a rat's ass, we're here to tell you we do give a rat's ass.
Right. We're humans too.
Many people have physical disabilities that are exacerbated by poor diets. Many people spend days in agonizing pain because they ate the wrong food. My friend Isabella suffers from celiac disease, amongst other things. My daughter has massive fructose intolerance. And when I was young in university, I could afford, you know, to live on ramen noodles and rice and potatoes and starches. But my daughter needs healthy food. She needs fruits. She needs vegetables. She needs gluten-free foods, which are incredibly expensive. I try to feed my children organic, but who can on a stipend? Who can even afford to buy vegetables fresh every week when I run out of money on the 5th of the month? It's criminal, and it's discriminating against the poorest people. It's telling us that we don't deserve to eat healthy. We deserve to die early of cancers. We deserve to suffer with illnesses that are completely avoidable. And obesity, that's another thing. Obesity, diabetes, perpetuating diseases that only get worse with time if they're not intervened upon early. Also, upsetting that lots of disabilities that can be fixed early on with physiotherapy, chiropractic care, don't get paid attention to because ODSP doesn't cover chiropractors or physiotherapists or acupuncturists or anything of that sort. So they'd rather you get more disabled so they can fix things for the longest time. All right. What's your name? Okay, we have Dan Bingham who'd like to speak with us today. Give it together for Dan Bingham.